Hello friends, an earthquake recently struck Jamaica with an estimated magnitude of 5.7 on the magnitude scale. According to seismologists, the epicenter of the tremors was located 12 kilometers west of the city of Port Antonio, where approximately 14,000 people live. Local media reports that some neighborhoods are without power, but there has been no serious damage. So far there is no information on casualties or injuries. Residents are asked to remain calm and stay in safe places, preparing for possible subsequent earth tremors. It is worth noting that such events in Jamaica are quite common, as in this region there are up to 200 earthquakes annually. The largest earthquake in the history of Jamaica occurred in 1907 in the capital Kingston and claimed more than 1,000 lives. A tornado struck in Paraguay and videos from the scene have emerged on social media showing the powerful vortex, which looks like a huge black pillar, taking everything in its path. With this disaster came torrential rains and hail. According to the latest reports, more than 5,000 people have been affected and the exact number of casualties has not yet been determined. Hurricane-force winds felled trees, damaged power lines and ripped roofs off residential buildings. In some areas, 100 millimeters of rain fell, causing water bodies to overflow their banks. Emergency services are now actively assisting local residents by restoring roads and providing food and emergency supplies. Specialists are also in the process of calculating the total damage, which could amount to many millions of dollars. A topical event in Argentina is dealing with the aftermath of floods. Due to the heavy rains that hit the region, the streets of many cities have become flooded. The Baixo Iguazu hydroelectric plant increased the volume of water discharge from 9,000 cubic meters to 22,000. Authorities announced the temporary closure of the Iguazu National Park. Argentine cities are now facing flooded streets, transportation difficulties, and reports of power outages in some areas. Residents are being asked to postpone planned long-distance travel and follow the instructions of emergency services. Coastal evacuations were carried out in the cities of San Javier, El Suburbio, and Panambay. A crisis of a scale of biblical proportions has unfolded in the Middle East, as described by Russia's permanent representative to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia. He emphasized that the whole world must act in concert to change the course of events and switch from military action to a political and diplomatic solution. According to the latest data, more than 8,000 people, including many women and children, were killed during the period of escalation in Gaza, and more than 2,000 Palestinians were blocked under the rubble. The total number of injured exceeds 21,000 people. Over 1.5 million citizens have been forced to flee their homes to survive the airstrikes. Against this backdrop, Israel continues to obstruct the delivery of humanitarian aid to Gaza. Only 94 trucks have been allowed to enter through the Rafah crossing from the Egyptian side since October 21st. This has led to serious shortages of water, fuel, food, and medicine in Gaza. To quote the words, "People are scared and desperate." A similar position is taken by China, which believes that the prospects for peace in the Middle East are on the verge of collapse. The statement was made by China's permanent representative to the UN, Zhang Jun, calling on the parties to the conflict to immediately cease hostilities and agree on a truce. Parties to the conflict have called on Israel to block aid deliveries to Gaza if it falls into the hands of Hamas. While Washington, according to the U.S. Permanent Representative to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, expressed concern over the disconnection of communications in Gaza, threatening the lives of civilians and UN staff. Israel's Prime Minister announced that the military operation in Gaza has entered its third phase, which includes expanding ground operations in the enclave. He also warned of defeat for the Arab world if Hamas is not defeated. That goal, he said, will require patience and time. Which sides do you support in this conflict, and which other countries do you think are taking more reasonable positions? Leave your opinions in the comments. The United States is facing an unexpected snowfall in the region. For example, Colorado has recorded about 20 centimeters of snow cover, while temperatures have plummeted. The middle of the week is predicted to bring no more than +4 degrees Celsius, according to forecasters. Locals are surprised as such weather in October is a rarity in the region. There is a danger of ice on the roads, so drivers are asked to postpone long trips and temporarily refuse to use personal transport. In addition, by the end of the week a snowstorm is possible, so residents are advised to stock up on necessary supplies and closely monitor notifications from emergency services. Russia has adopted its new climate strategy, which, unlike the 2009 document, includes specific targets and indicators. One of the key goals is to achieve a balance between anthropogenic emissions of greenhouse gases and their capture by 2060. Among the important points in the new strategy are also indicated the development of measures for adaptation to a changing climate, mitigation of the negative impact of human activity on the climate, and promotion of energy saving at home. The document emphasizes that an effective climate policy seeks to modernize the economy and increase the country's competitiveness. In addition, it notes that a long-term solution to climate problems is possible only through the joint efforts of all states, and Russia expresses its readiness to participate in the development of joint measures and initiatives. Earlier, Vladimir Putin urged citizens to get used to climate change and start adapting to new conditions now. Alexei Lozhinov, vice president of the Russian Polar Explorers Association, has completed his 6-year round-the-world voyage on the sailing motor yacht Elizaveta. He previously worked in the ocean industry for 10 years during the Soviet era, but switched to financial management after perestroika. Nevertheless, his passion for maritime adventure remained unchanged. Based on the plans, Alexei expected to overcome this extreme round-the-world route in a year or two, but the whole journey was full of incredible difficulties. Among the problems were limited fuel and food supplies, temporary port closures, and the need to constantly modernize the ship to cope with the more difficult ocean routes. Over 50 people worked aboard the yacht during the entire expedition, but only Alexei and his mate Pavel completed the full circumnavigation. At the moment, Alexei is already planning new routes on another vessel. He also expressed his intention to hand over the yacht Elizaveta into reliable hands so that it could become a model training vessel for young sailors. In conclusion, an extraordinary event in Egypt called Forever is now where artists and visitors from all over the world join together to explore the mysteries of an ancient civilization. One of the main goals of this exhibition is to highlight the worldwide impact of ancient Egypt and to establish a dialogue between contemporary and ancient art. Art installations can be seen against the backdrop of the ancient pyramids at Giza. The organizers explain that this year's exhibition raises issues related to the new era of technology and cultural change. Anyone can visit this amazing event for free and enjoy unique installations and sculptures against the backdrop of the pyramids. Friends, do you personally think one country can influence the world's climate? How do you think the weather and climate is changing in your home areas? How do you feel about the increasing intensity of events in the Middle East? Are they bringing us closer to a catastrophe of biblical proportions, or is it just a play on words? Please share your views in the comments.